Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to my channel English with Mina. If you are a student of English literature preparing for college exam, then today's video is especially for you. Today we are going to study one of the most beautiful poem in English literature, The Daffodils by William Wordsworth. By the end of the video, you will understand the poet's introduction, background of the poem, summary, stanza-wise explanation, difficult vocabulary, literary device, themes, moral lesson, important exam question. So let's begin with the introduction of the poem. William Wordsworth was born in 1770 in England. He is one of the greatest poets of the Romantic age. He believed that nature is the best teacher and that spending time in the nature brings peace, happiness, and spiritual comfort. He wrote many famous poems, but The Daffodils is his most popular work. So let's talk about the background of the poem. One day, William Wordsworth and his sister Dorothy were walking beside a lake. They saw thousands of golden daffodils dancing in the breeze. This beautiful scene impressed the poet deeply. Later, he wrote this poem from memory of his wonderful experience. So let's move toward the detailed explanation of the poem. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats o'er high vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the tree, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The poem began with the poet saying that he was wandering alone without any purpose. He compared himself to a cloud floating freely in the sky over valleys and hills. This comparison showed that he was lonely but free. Suddenly, he saw a thousand of golden daffodils growing beside the lake under the trees. The flowers were moving gently in the breeze, and the poet imagined that they were dancing happily. This unexpected sight completely changed his mood. His loneliness disappeared and he became happy because of the nature's beauty. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretch in never-ending line along the margin of bay. 10,000 eyes saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Here in the second stanza, the poet compares that the daffodils were the countless stars shining in the Milky Way. Just as the stars stretch across the sky without end, the daffodils also stretch along the lakeside as far as the eye could see. The poet said that there seemed to be the 10,000 daffodils dancing before him. The number is not exact. It is used to emphasize how large and impressive the field of flower looked. The endless line of golden flowers made the scene unforgettable. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in the glee. A poet couldn't be but gay. In such a just company I gazed and gazed, but little thought what the world show to me had brought. Here in this stanza, the poet noticed that the waves of the lake also dance in the breeze. However, he feels that the daffodils are much more lively and beautiful than the waves. Their charms, their cheerful movements fill the poet's heart with joy. He realizes that such a wonderful gift of nature is more valuable than any material possession. At that moment, he doesn't fully understand how important this experience will become in his life. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, that they flash upon that inward eyes, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills, and dawns with the daffodils. In the final stanza, the poet explained that the lasting effects of this experience. Whenever he is alone or lying quietly at home, the memory of dancing daffodils appear in his mind. The memory brings him peace, happiness, and comfort. His heart began to dance with the daffodils once again. The poet concludes that nature continues to give joy even after the actual experiences is over because beautiful memories remain us forever. So let's move toward the theme of the poem. The most important theme of the poem is love of nature. William Wordsworth believed that nature is not just a beautiful, it's also a source of wisdom, peace, and happiness. Throughout the poem, he described the golden daffodils, the sparkling lake, the tree, and the gentle breeze with great admiration. When the poet sees the dancing daffodils, he forgot his loneliness and became cheerful. This showed that nature has the power to change a person's emotion. Wordsworth believed that people should spend time in nature because it refreshes both the mind and the soul. Another major theme is that nature heals emotional pain. At the beginning of the poem, the poet is lonely and wandering without purpose. However, after seeing the daffodils, his sadness disappears and he feels refreshed. Even long after the experience, the memory of the flowers comfort him whenever he feels lonely. This shows that nature can heal emotional wounds and give inner peace. Wordsworth believed that beautiful memories remain with us forever. The last stanza shows that although the poet has left the lake, the image of daffodils stays alive in his mind. Whenever he is alone, this memory brings him joy, comfort. The poem teaches that happy memories can become a source of strength during difficult times. Imagination is another important theme. The poet imagines that the daffodils are dancing happily like a human. This imaginative view makes him the natural scene even more beautiful. It also shows that a poet's imagination can transform an ordinary scene into something extraordinary. The poem teaches that true happiness doesn't always come from the wealth or material things. Sometimes a simple gifts of nature, such as fields of flower, can fill our heart with joy. The happiness that the poem experiences is pure, natural, and long lasting. Now let's move toward the literary device used in the daffodils. First, we will discuss what is literary device. So, literary devices are special techniques that writers and poets use to make their writing more beautiful, expressive, and meaningful. In the Daffodils, William Wordsworth uses several literary devices to create vivid picture of nature and express his emotions. Simile is the comparison between two different things using the word like or as. In the poem, the poet uses this technique in a very first line. I wandered lonely as a cloud. The poet compared himself to a cloud floating freely in the sky, just as the cloud moved without fixed direction. The poet is wandering along. This comparison emphasizes his loneliness and freedom. Another literary device is personification. Personification gives human quality to non human things. For example, fluttering and dancing in the breeze and the wave beside them dance. Flowers and waves can't actually dance, but the poem imagines them dancing happily. This makes nature appear live and joyful. Imagery is the use of descriptive language that help reader create mental picture. For example, golden daffodils beside the lake and beneath the tree. The poet paints a colorful picture of golden flowers, a peaceful lake, green trees, and gentle breeze. Reader can easily imagine the beautiful landscape. Another literary device is hyperbole. Hyperbole is a deliberate exaggeration used for emphasis. For example, 10,000 I saw at a glance. The poet doesn't mean he counted exactly the 10,000 flowers. He uses exaggeration to show that there were an enormous number of daffodils. Metaphor is also used in the poem. A metaphor is a direct comparison between unlike things without using like or as. For example, they flash upon that inward eyes. The phrase inward eyes is a metaphor for the poet's imagination or memory. It means that he can still see the daffodils in his mind even after leaving the place. Symbolism is an object that represents a deep idea. For example, golden daffodils, golden daffodils, happiness, beauty, hope, and the joy of nature. Cloud, loneliness, and freedom. The daffodils symbolize joy, optimism, and the healing power of nature, while the clouds symbolize the poet's lonely state at the beginning of the poem. So, the central idea of the poem is that nature has the power to heal the human mind. Even after we leave a beautiful place, its memory continues to bring happiness, peace, and hope whenever we will remember it. So, the moral lesson of the poem is that nature is the best source of peace. Beautiful memories stay forever with us. We should appreciate the beauty of nature, and happiness is found in simple things. Here is the important exam related questions. Answer them in comment section. So today's lecture we learned about Wordsworth, the background of the poem, stanza-wise explanation, literary device, theme, and important exam questions. If this lecture helped you, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe my channel English with Mina. Thank you for watching. Allah Hafiz.